I've got a very nice game for you here today. This is a game that I played about an hour or two ago. Uh, this is obviously an arms race game on Warrior's Path. Taking a look at the matchmaking. First things first, threats to my ship. There's no carrier, but there is a Mossfa radar, potential radar in the Edinburgh, Shimakaze, double Marceau, and a Schultz, which is going to be nasty to deal with. Those two double Marceaus. They luckily are not in a division, so it's unlikely that I'm going to have to face them both at the same time. I'll be able to take one of them on and then the other. And the thing to keep in mind is that the Marceau has the highest sustained DPM for HE shells of all tier 10 destroyers in the game. It's higher than Harigamo, Vampire 2, Smoland, literally every other destroyer in the game. At tier 10, the Marceau will out DPM with its HE. But it also has the second highest AP DPM. But the thing about that is the Kleber, when it's using the main battery reload booster, can outgun a Marceau despite its crazy DPM, and that's one of the things that makes this ship so damn strong, is that ability to just pop up and chainsaw people. But that's not what we're going to be focusing here today, right? At least not right now. First thing I'm looking at is this health buff right here. I know I will be outspotted by any of those destroyers. So I am going to actually back in here. I'm going to turn out a little bit and then just slowly start backing in towards this direction. So that way, if I were to spot one of those destroyers, I'm not going to be stuck bow in and then have to gamer turn and eat a bunch of damage for it. I'll just be able to accelerate and immediately start kiting away. And one Marceau does get spotted over there, which is very useful for me. And then the other is also spotted all the way over there. So the two Marceaus, the two biggest threats to my ship, are literally on opposite ends of the map. If you look at what's going on right here, that Marceau right there has a clear shot towards this health buff. And there's really not much anyone can do to stop that Marceau from getting that. And I'm still expecting one of these destroyers to pop up in this health or this regeneration buff right now. So I still have my turrets trained for that. But at this point, my detection is blooming so far southward that if there was going to be a destroyer down here, I very likely would have been spotted already. So now I'm going to start turning my turrets. This is well, it's a replay, so I can't show you. But this is Jean Honoré as the captain. So it does get the improved expert marksman to make the turrets turn a little bit faster. But right here, I do get hard spotted. But the Marceau's not shooting at me. And a Schultz does not want to fight a Kleber. And I know it's the Schultz because the Marceau's been spotted and the other Marceau's been spotted as well as the Shimakaze. But right here is where you're going to see this reload booster come into play. And because I'm already in a kite-away position, I can immediately just accelerate, and you can see how far behind these Marceau shells are landing. Those torpedoes were meant for the Marceau if he was going to be very aggressive and go from the cap or from the one buff straight to the next. Those torpedoes were meant to catch him out there, but didn't happen. But right here, I took a blind speculative shot, completely blind, because when that island broke line of sight, he went dark. Likely because he's running a stock range like you should in a Marceau, so the Holland was not able to detect him even though he was shooting. So good build on him, I guess. But it is unlucky that he beached right there. If he had gotten behind the island, he probably honestly would have been damaged, but at least alive. And speaking of running into islands, there's that. So right now, the first thing I'm looking at is there's this health buff right here, but there's also this lot of ships over here. And this is a really dangerous decision, honestly. I might have been better off going north towards where this Albemarle is, and maybe trying to farm out this Conqueror or this Schultz or the Izimo. But the thing is, all of these ships, the Schultz will outspot me, the submarine will fucking shotgun me, and it goes 40 knots underwater for some reason. Conqueror is going to take forever to spam down with HE because it has the zombie heal, and it has pretty nasty HE of its own. Izimos are pretty annoying to farm because they have a really small superstructure, so you can really only reliably get pen damage with long range HE when you hit like the rear end of the ship, because if you hit the front half of the ship, you're just going to shatter on turrets or its deck armor. So really, and also the Moskva is really annoying to deal with because it has the Russian railgun. So all of those ships are very significant threats to me. So that's why I'm kind of heading towards this side. You could argue that this is a mistake, and honestly, I can kind of see that. Because they're just going to completely walk for free right here. But right now, my goal, or what I'm looking at, is these two destroyers were last spotted heading this way. They know something just picked up that health buff, and by process of elimination, they can probably guess that it was me. But now, if they're smart, what they're going to do is they're going to turn out a little bit and go out a little bit wider, because both of them do outspot me. If they're smart, they're not going to just barrel around the corner broadside. And that Burgoyne, by the way, has not been detected the entire game. Now right here, I do hit the reload booster. Even though the Marceau is low health, it is a Marceau. Like I said earlier in the game, and I've probably said multiple times in multiple videos, Marceau has the single highest sustained HE DPM of all destroyers in the game at tier 10. So even though he was low health, I needed that guy to die as fast as possible, because if I didn't reload booster that guy right then and there, it would have taken me another 5 seconds for me to get another shot off, which is probably another 3 salvos worth of damage that I would have taken, maybe even 4. So I'm willing to burn my reload booster, get another shot off as fast as possible, and just get him off the board as fast as possible, because that was just damage that I wouldn't have to take otherwise. So, and Shimakaze, I don't know where he went, but he didn't round the corner because I was not detected at that point. Right here, though, I am detected, and at first I thought it was the Shima, but no. It is, in fact, the Schultz. And honestly, I really thought about shooting at that Schultz right there, but the reason I didn't is because that would have been what's called a smoke trap, because this Shimakaze very likely has a line of sight with me somewhere. All he has to do is be like literally from this line and that way. It has to be like literally anywhere in this circle, which for a Shima is not a hard thing to do. I am in a pretty rough spot right here, though. I did manage to escape the Moskva radar, which was actually pretty lucky. But right now, I'm in a very tight spot because there's a Hawk walking at me from this side, and there's a Conqueror walking at me from this side. So I'm about to pretty much be sandwiched in between 2 battleships, and this is one of those moments that you really wish that you were a ledge mod Kleber, so you would have the improved concealment. But then again, a ledge mod Kleber would not have been able to pull the stunts I did earlier against the Marceau with that little assassination right there. I do get really lucky here, because this Burgoyne is finally getting into the game, and this Conqueror cannot keep walking at me because that Burgoyne is just going to clap his broadside. So I'm just going to put torpedoes out, and I've said this a bunch of times, even though that Conqueror was out of range at the time of firing, because they were heading towards me, when you look at that line that your targets have in front of them, and you're looking at your aiming reticle, that intersection between this line right here of the center of where you're looking and the line of your target, you're looking for those two lines to intersect to tell if your torpedoes have range or not. And that Conqueror was just barely within the range, and you see he just ate a lot of shit for that. If that last torpedo hit, I hit 5 out of 6 torpedoes. If that last one hit, that would have been a dev strike, which is a little unfortunate that it wasn't. But that Conqueror's dead. He's burning. He doesn't have a heal. He's gone. Now, I'm going to try and get my farm on this Hawk a little bit. But my main target is going to be this Schultz, because this Hawk, he's pretty much pushing into his spawn. He's not really going to threaten me, so I really wanted to get my farm on that man, but I have other things that I need to worry about before I can even afford to farm, and that's this cap circle right here. There is a Schultz somewhere in there, the Moskva, and the Izimo. I could have launched torpedoes at that Hawk, but he ends up dying anyway. He gets burned out by the Thunder, which is very helpful for me. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk and ram my head into this island, basically. And I'm going to use this island to mask my horrible concealment. And those are just barely going to be in range. This Izimo, you just saw the indicator start to reverse there, so those torpedoes are aimed pretty much as close to the island as I possibly can, and I do end up getting radared, which I wasn't expecting, to be totally honest. I'm not entirely sure what it was that triggered the Moskva to radar, if he had his spider sense tingling or not, but this actually ends up working in my favor, because the Izimo sees a destroyer being radared in his face, and well, we'll go back to that. Right now, if you remember the game for the Marceau that I uploaded a little while ago, 2 days ago to be exact, called Blind Shot, what do we have right here? Last known position. What do we have right here? Visual indicators. Boom, there you go. Honestly, I really should have loaded the armor piercing right here, but I just getting this guy on fire. Although I really honestly should have loaded the armor piercing. Getting this guy on fire also works. I was honestly expecting him to DCP that, but he didn't, which I'm not going to complain about. And you can see right there with the with how little superstructure there is to farm on an Izimo. That is actually a really annoying farm target. So now all we have to do is farm out this Izimo and hunt down this submarine, and we'll be good to go. This Izimo actually went and loaded HE just for me, which is kind of cringe, if I'm being honest. Tried to get a bow fire going right there, but honestly at this point it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go for superstructure pens, try and get a kill and get a Kraken, but doesn't happen, which is a little unfortunate. But now all that's left is this one submarine versus 6 of our ships, and I'm trying to remember the controls for this here, but basically that's not it. No. Hold on. Here we go. I have not done replay controls in a while, but basically, this submarine is about to just conga line fucking 6 ships, as you can see going right there. Daring ping the map right there, which I thought was going to work, because I thought he was getting depth charge hits, but that guy literally just evaded 6 ships, and he didn't even try and get a shotgun off on the very end to get some more XP or damage. He just ran the fuck away. So I think I'm going to call him a little bitch for that. But Well, I think what this game particularly demonstrates is, first of all, how to torpedo from stealth, even if you don't have that much room. You just have to rely on, like I talked about, people pushing into you, and telling if your torpedoes will have range. And I explained that with the intersection of the target's line and your aiming. So that's how you can tell if you're going to have range or not. And then also using islands to mask your approach, like you saw with that Ismo, and then using your reload booster to just pop up and chainsaw destroyers, like you saw with those two Marceaus, like you saw with that Schultz, and you also got to see some blind fire into smoke once again with that Schultz as well. So this was a pretty good little game that I think really demonstrates once again just the game-winning strength of these French destroyers, which is their ability to just zoom around the map, outspeed, out-rotate everything. You saw its torpedoes in action there against those battleships. And you saw its reload booster in action against those destroyers. So, really solid game. So, I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something from it. And if you did, that is great. I hope it helps you when you're playing these French destroyers and helps you really reach that potential. And I think that is going to be it for today. I will see you tomorrow.